A Tokyo playground at dusk. Two 4-year-olds arguing over a red plastic shovel. Grabbing, resisting, voices climbing. A Japanese mother sits on a bench 5 feet away, hands in her lap, watching. She doesn't move, doesn't speak. A Western mother nearby glances at her, then glances again. 30 seconds pass. One child hands over the shovel. The mother never left the bench. Researchers analyzed the behavioral and emotional health of 55,000 children across 31 countries. Japan ranked among the lowest nations for childhood behavioral and emotional problems. The United States ranked among the highest. That gap doesn't close on its own. By the end of this video, you'll have 3 things you can start tomorrow. And I'll be honest, one of them I find almost impossible to do myself. We'll get to it last. A quick note before we start. What I'm about to show you might look, at first, like a parent doing nothing. Stay with me, because doing nothing is exactly what takes the most skill. I know what you might be thinking. This doesn't work in America. Japanese kids behave because of Japanese culture. Here's what's fascinating. When researchers at Hiroshima University showed U.S. preschool teachers videos of Japanese educators watching children in conflict without intervening, every single one recognized its value and wanted to try it. The barrier wasn't culture. The barrier was school liability policies requiring immediate adult intervention. The instinct to trust children is already inside us. What's been trained out of Western parents is the permission to follow it. There are 3 words that give it back. Let's start with the first one. The first word is Shitsuke, written in Japanese with 2 characters pressed together. Mi, which means body, one's own person, and mi, which means beauty, elegance, goodness. The full image: to attach beauty to the body, to cultivate graceful behavior as something that lives inside a person, not something that follows from rules or fear. This is a kokuji, a character Japan invented. It didn't come from China. The Japanese created a new word for this idea because no borrowed concept was precise enough. Think about that for a second. Shitsuke is often mistranslated as discipline, but what it describes is proactive formation, not reactive correction. The goal is never to stop a specific behavior. The goal is to build a person who doesn't need to be stopped. Here's how it works in practice. When a child misbehaves in public, a Japanese mother waits. She finds a private moment, crouches to the child's eye level, speaks quietly, explains what she wants to see, and then demonstrates it herself. Her body is the lesson. Her calm is not suppressed anger. It is the product of a philosophy. If you want a calm child, you must first become a calm adult. Now compare that to what we typically do. We wait for the bad behavior. We respond to the incident. We raise our voice to match the intensity of theirs. We treat the symptom and wonder why the symptoms keep returning. That's because we're fighting the fire when it's already burning. Shitsuke builds a house that doesn't catch. Japanese parents do the opposite. They ask a question we rarely think to ask. Not, how do I stop this behavior, but what kind of person am I building, day by day, one quiet moment at a time? Now, let's go back to that bench on the playground. That mother, hands in her lap, completely still while 2 children argued over a shovel. Why didn't she move? Because she was practicing something called Mimamoru. 2 characters, mi, which means to watch, to see, and sho, which means to protect, to guard. Literally, to watch and protect. To keep someone safe by watching them, not by intervening. Mimamoru is the Japanese belief that every adult intervention that prevents a child from working through difficulty robs the child of a learning moment. The pause is not neglect. The pause is the intervention. Here's what happens developmentally when parents practice this. Children build what researchers call intrinsic regulation, the ability to manage frustration and conflict from the inside, not because an adult stepped in to manage it for them. And that internal resource, once built, belongs to them forever. Studies at Hiroshima University found that children in Mimamoru environments develop stronger conflict resolution skills and emotional resilience. Children raised with constant adult intervention develop lower emotional tolerance. They've never been given the chance to discover they could handle it. So, the next time your child has an argument without danger, count to 30 before you speak. Move closer if you need to. Keep your eyes on them. But let the 30 seconds exist. Give them the chance to surprise you. Here's where Western assumptions about Japanese parenting usually break down. People often assume that because Japanese children are so calm and self-directed, their upbringing must be strict, rule-bound, perhaps even cold. The opposite is true. The third concept is not about rules at all. It's about something that lives in the bones, a way of moving through the world that children absorb before they can name it. The word is wa, one syllable, written with a character that combines pa, the image of grain drooping with ripeness, bending in the wind without breaking, and ko, meaning voice, mouth, speech. Grain and voice in harmony. Different voices bending together, each distinct, moving as one. Wa means harmony. And Japan thought so highly of this concept that in the 8th century, they chose this character as the name for Japan itself. Here's my honest opinion. Wa is the most radical concept in this video, because it places the responsibility entirely on the adult. Yelling violates wa, not the child's behavior, the parent's response. A raised voice disturbs the peace of the room, the relationship, the moment. In a wa-oriented family, the parent's job is not to stop the child from breaking harmony. It is to model harmony so completely that the child is drawn into it at a cellular level, without ever being told. The quietest homes don't have fewer arguments. They have a parent who decided their voice would never add to the noise. Now, the one concept I told you I find almost impossible. It's Mimamoru. Watching without intervening. It feels like neglect from the inside. When my child is struggling, every instinct I have says, "Go, fix, help, stop it." Counting to 30 when your body wants to move feels like a physical restraint. But that discomfort is the point. Every second I hold still is a second the child discovers they can hold themselves. That's the brain being built, not mine, theirs. Now, I want to be honest, because this matters. Japanese children grow up inside a culture built around group harmony. In classrooms, in communities, in multi-generational homes. That context shapes what's possible. We can't replicate it entirely. I'm not asking us to go Japanese. I'm asking us to take the principle. And there is one principle available to every parent, starting tomorrow morning, that costs nothing but a decision. So here's your practical takeaway. Tomorrow, at the next moment your child has a frustration, an argument, a struggle, something that would normally make us step in immediately, count to 30 before speaking. Out loud in your head. Move closer if you need to. Keep your eyes on them, but don't speak yet. Do it every day, without pressure, without reward. Just repetition, just expectation, just trust. Over 2 to 3 weeks, notice how often they resolve it before you reach 30. Notice whether the intensity of their frustration decreases when we don't match their energy with ours. Notice what happens to your own voice. Because here's what Japanese research found. Most of the time, they don't need us to intervene. They need us to believe they can handle it. Give it 3 weeks. Watch who your child starts to become. Shitsuke, beauty grown from within. Mimamoru, watch and protect. Wa, harmony as the model. These aren't Japanese secrets. They're human truths, and they're available to every parent starting today. The quietest parents in the world aren't suppressing their frustration. They've built a home where there's less to be frustrated about. If this video gave you something to think about, share it with another parent who needs to hear it. And if you want more on childhood emotional development, the research most parenting books never mention, subscribe. There's a lot more coming. See you in the next one.